Oh my God,
What
I
if
have to
that
wish
doesn't
I
turn
wish
out
wish wish.
well? What if they don't
I
answer
have
me?
to pick up the car. I have
What
to
if
do
I
this.
screw up?
Oh my God, oh my God.
What if I
haven't done
don't
this.
talk to
I have to
them?
reply to this person.
What
Oh my God,
happens
what's
if
happening? This is Anxiety Talk Podcast with your unique and exclusive hosts, Nico, Nayocka, Camille.
Have you ever experienced a feeling of uneasiness, worry, restlessness, irritability? How about issues sleeping due to overthinking? Well, my friend, it's very likely that you might have anxiety. So, whether you've been diagnosed by a medical professional or you think that you may be suffering from anxiety, there are ways to cope and work through your anxious feelings and reclaim yourself. Many of us go through those challenges alone, but just know, my friend, that you are not alone. Tune into our podcast to learn more about anxiety.
Hello, and thank you for joining us. Welcome to Anxiety Talk podcast, in which we'll talk about anxiety, its meaning, and connection with our lives. In today's first episode, we'll jump into various topics that we'll cover in future episodes of this session.
Yeah, thank you, Camille. I am so excited for our podcast, and I'm sure it'll help you understand yourself. Nayocka, would you like to share your take on anxiety as a whole topic?
Yes, absolutely. So I would say that anxiety disorder has become more prevalent, especially after the COVID-19 pandemic. So anxiety, it doesn't discriminate and it's affected a lot of people of all ages and races. And I do find that it's not talked about enough. A lot of people experience anxiety, and because there's not lots of discussion around it, people don't even realize that they have anxiety. So they just notice like changes in their moods and their productivity, and they're not aware that it's anxiety.
Yeah, that I would agree with that. It comes more common nowadays. Can you tell me a little bit more about that?
Yeah, sure. So anxiety disorder, it often causes feelings of fear, worry, and uneasiness. And even though the exact cause for anxiety is not known, it's said that genetic and environmental and biological factors do play a big role, hence why it becomes more and more common for people now. So if you take a look around us, so much has changed in such a short period of time. I can definitely say that anxiety has affected me, and all these feelings of restlessness, worry, and fear have affected my day to day life. And I wasn't kind to myself. So I lost like a sense of my self love, and I wasn't putting myself first, you know?
Yes, totally. Thank you for those last few words, Nayocka. I now would like to shift to this very kind of ambiguous topic, but also very necessary: self love. And many times we think that self love has nothing to do with anxiety and how we kind of perceive it in our lives or even the ways in which we actually feel towards our personality and maybe how we behave, perhaps, right? And so understanding that self love and anxiety have a very deep connection, and that your behavior towards your life and the way you interpret life is an actual reminder of the way in which you're going to love yourself, the person you are, and the person you're working to be in the future.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. And not only is this true, I feel that most of the times when people are procrastinating or forcing themselves to do stuff when they're not comfortable with it, they're not happy with their self, and it demonstrates a lack of self love and commitment that they have towards themselves and their lives.
Yeah, so I absolutely agree with this. The main connection between anxiety and self love is that when somebody is not compassionate or understanding, kind, or caring about their life and the way they go through their journey, this immediately creates an anxious and stressful attitude towards their daily life.
Yeah. And mainly, what we need to understand and what we want you listening to us to understand is that the way we feel about ourselves and the way we act upon others, situations, and our own situations as well, will actually determine most of the times the feelings that we will encounter while facing challenges in life. So, this means that until we don't solve the things that are kind of happening in our inside and how we feel and those things that happen within ourselves, we won't actually create anything different, but stressful and anxious situations from a very low self-love state, you know?
Yeah. Another thing is anxiety and sleep. I think it's a very common issue. Don't you?
Yeah, for sure. I think so.
Yeah. And for myself, I think individuals think by developing better like things like sleep hygiene and better work-life balance, anxiety and sleep can be changed.
Yeah, and you know, for me, anxiety and sleep can lead to shortness of breath, weak limbs, flashbacks, which can develop issues with substance use, and it can take to very like severe consequences.
Yeah, I think falling asleep is a common issue with sleep and anxiety. Individual anxiety disorders are prone to greater sleep deprivation, and they may even use like alcohol as a coping tool.
I believe that most individuals feel that they're taking the correct actions as they keep up with their everyday lives. We may feel like by not going to bed early, drinking too much coffee, they may have caused these issues that they can be changed easily. Unhealthy coping skills cannot just be changed without developing proper tools that every individual finds effective, ones that you can relate to and are impactful. Thank you for listening today to us. I really appreciate your time.
Make sure you check out our next episode speaking on these topics and many more.
Yeah, we really hope to see you soon. And remember, you're brave enough because you're here listening to us.